とは思ってます。
But by having this sort of limited job, I think it opens up possibilities for considering more traditional Final Fantasy jobs that may not necessarily be a perfect fit for MMORPGs.
はい。
Like what job?
例え
例えばどんなジョブでしょうね。
まあ、ビーストテイマーとか
like Beast Tamer.
Man, I'm sure glad that I made that video. That was long. Hello everyone, I am here at Mystic, and we are going to talk about limited jobs. Some may ask, why talk about it? You have the people that hate Blue Mage, and those that love it. And that's that, right? Well, while Blue Mage is pretty much lukewarm content at best, I got to think about this when I watched the Digital Fan Fest in May. I realized it's been 2.5 years since Blue Mage came out, and the general consensus I've been getting is, if only it was a real job. Which is pretty much the general sentiment that's been looming over the limited job system ever since the announcement. And Square Enix seemed to have gotten a hint because Endwalker would have been the perfect time to add another limited job. Instead, we got Gun Mage and Darker Knight. Both are jobs I'm sure will be fun, but personally, I don't think these jobs are generating the type of hype that previous jobs in the past have done. In fact, I'm pretty confident in saying if we didn't get any new jobs, the backlash wouldn't be all that bad, especially if that time used to make new jobs, which we've been told is very lengthy of a process, was used to make more satisfying content. And as we know, Blue Mage itself is content. So why not use this time to make another limited job? Well, it's an easy answer. Blue Mage was not received well, which is unfortunate because from the 30 minutes I played on Blue Mage, the content is actually pretty good and well made. It's not that the content is bad, but rather Blue Mage is being treated as content instead of a job. Blue Mage feels like that super OP character from an anime that shows up once per season to shake things up before going away, and it just makes you think, man, that was cool. But then you proceed to forget about them because the impression actually isn't as memorable as you thought. You're still far more invested into the stories of the protagonists than the supporting cast. There's also the issue that Final Fantasy XIV really puts you through the gutter as a low-level character. You don't get abilities to play with and no realized rotations, and all you want to do is just speed to higher levels so you can have everything come together. But man, going from max level job with these slew abilities all the way down to just one ability is just painful. Add on to the fact that you had to farm for these new abilities as Blue Mage, and the process just feels like a poor man's version of Final Fantasy XI's fully realized Blue Mage, which by the way is my second favorite job to play in that game. So for me personally, Blue Mage loses my interest pretty early on, but I'm smart enough to know that my experience is anecdotal and is not congruent to the world at large, but the sentiment is still there. Sure, you have people that say Blue Mage wouldn't be unique if not for this limited system, and that's kind of true, because in reality, Blue Mage is just another DPS job, and your skill selection is pretty much just stronger versions of Water Cannon. It's honestly not very different from Red Mage from a utility standpoint either. The only difference is Blue Mage does much higher numbers, and you can geek out and laugh like a madman when you murder an entire group of mobs in one go, except you can do that on other jobs too. just by the aspect of being over-leveled and over-geared in content. So really, what is the unique thing about Blue Mage that must be protected and is the reason why it is a limited job? Well, it's the process of actually playing a Blue Mage. You need that insane spell list, and you need to have the ability to equip what you want. Otherwise, it just wouldn't feel like Blue Mage. Now, this is a flaw in of itself and goes into problems of Final Fantasy XIV's design choices, but I've already talked about that in detail. So to make a quick summary of my previous video that no one watched, Final Fantasy XIV's battle system has no freedom. Jobs are pigeonholed into the Holy Trinity, and breaking out of this mold runs into serious balance issues. The thing is, players would have accepted that. When they asked for Blue Mage, anyone who was sane of mind would be totally okay with compromises. Hell, I did with Red Mage, and while it's in every way inferior to every previous incarnation, especially in Final Fantasy XI, it's still my favorite DPS job to go to. So, was this concept worth losing Blue Mage as a traditional job? Considering that each update only gives Blue Mage a few weeks of life, only then to be ignored by the rest of the patch cycle, I think it's safe to say the lack of excitement for Blue Mage is justified. Personally, I believe the main issue of the limited job system stems from it being about limiting jobs in the first place. I've always felt that jobs in Final Fantasy XIV are effectively watered down versions of their true selves for the sake of balance. Okay, I said this twice now, and I feel like I'm going to get hate comments if I don't say anything. So yeah, this is not a bad thing, it's just for the sake of the argument. Alright, let's move on. Now, I feel the limited job system would be better if this was expanded to all jobs. As it stands, job quests are slowly becoming a thing of the past, and jobs can get a lot more life if all of them had the ability to become the broken monsters that Blue Mage is. Of course, when you can get into current patch content and Savage content or whatever, we can go back to the standard DPS meta gameplay. But wouldn't it be so much fun if all the jobs could go out in the wild and have so much power to them? And in turn, the dev team can actually make some pretty interesting overall bosses. I mean, they've pretty much been steering in that direction with Eureka and Bostia. It just needs to be expanded upon. And don't say it wouldn't make sense. It already doesn't make sense that we lose abilities every patch, or abilities aren't allowed to PvP. The sky is the limit. So let's stop limiting ourselves. See, I made that pun because it's about limited jobs and I said the word limited, so yeah, whatever. Like, comment, subscribe.